Good morning dear students, this is Amrita NR, your chemistry lecturer. So today in this session we will learn analysis of basic radicals. In the previous class we already learned about analysis of acid radicals. So today in this session we will learn analysis of basic radicals. So let us discuss one by one. That means analysis of basic radicals, or it is also called as analysis of cations. The basic radicals majorly classified into 6 groups. They are mentioned as below. Okay. That means the first group basic radicals contains lead or silver ion, and the group reagents used for the first group basic radical is dilute HCl. Similarly, the second group basic radicals contains lead ion or cupric or cadmium or bismuth ion, and the group reagents used for the second group basic radical is dilute HCl plus H2S gas. Similarly, the third group basic radicals contains aluminium, ferrous or ferric ion. Then the group reagents used for the third group basic radical is solid ammonium chloride plus ammonium hydroxide. Okay. Then the fourth group basic radicals contains manganese and zinc ion. So the group reagents used for the fourth group basic radical is solid ammonium chloride plus ammonium hydroxide plus H2S gas. Then the fifth group basic radicals contains calcium, strontium and barium. Okay. Then the group reagents used for the fifth group basic radical is ammonium chloride, that means solid ammonium chloride plus ammonium hydroxide plus ammonium carbonate. Okay. Then the sixth group basic radicals contains magnesium, and the group reagents used for the sixth group basic radical is solid ammonium chloride plus ammonium hydroxide plus ammonium carbonate plus sodium hydrogen phosphate. So this is a group reagent used for the sixth group basic radicals. So this is all about the group, the radicals and the group reagents. Okay. So this tabular column is very important. You have to learn this tabular column before going to analyze the basic radicals. You are having a knowledge about this tabular column and the group reagents. Okay. If this one is clear, next we will discuss test for ammonium radicals. So this part is very important. That means the test is carried out before starting the analysis for the basic radicals. That means before carrying out the basic radicals, before analyzing the basic radicals, you have to go through the test for ammonium radicals. So how do you do this test? Means in a test tube you have to take salt mixture and add dilute sodium hydroxide solution. Then heat the solution. What you will observe means there is a formation of, or you will observe a smell of ammonia, and which gives a dense white fumes with a glass rod dipped in a concentrated HCl. Okay. Then in the inference column you have to write ammonium may be present in the salt. Okay. If there is no smell of ammonia is observed, then you have to notice ammonium is absent. In case what happens means, if there is any ammonium is present in the given salt, you have to go for confirmatory test for ammonium. So how do you carry out this confirmatory test? Means by using a Nessler's reagent test. So in the Nessler's reagent test means what happens means you have to take a salt mixture, or you have to take a solution of a mixture in a test tube and add few drops of Nessler's reagent. So what you will observe means a reddish brown precipitate is obtained. If you get a reddish brown precipitate, then it will show us that ammonium is confirmed in the given salt. So this is about a test for ammonium radicals. Okay. So next we will learn Preparation of virginal solutions. So this part is very important. Why means in the analysis of acid radicals, we should take a salt. We should take a salt solution for analyzing the acid radicals. But in case of basic radicals, what you are going to means, you have to prepare a virginal solution. You have to prepare a virginal solution. So how do you prepare virginal solution means, prepare the virginal solution by dissolving maximum amount of a given salt mixture in about 2.5 ml of a suitable solvent. So that means you have to take a given salt mixture, then you have to dissolve in a suitable solvent. Solvent means either you have to take a distilled water, or you have to take dilute HCl or dilute HNO3. Okay, for example, take a solvent in a test tube. So the solvent used is distilled water, or you can use dilute HCl or HNO3. So I will use distilled water in a test tube and add a small amount of a salt mixture. Okay, after adding a salt mixture to a distilled water, if it is soluble, observe here, if it is soluble in the distilled water, then prepare a virginal solution. Okay, remember, if it is soluble in distilled water, then only we will prepare a virginal solution. That means, how do you prepare this virginal solution means, take a distilled water and add small amount of the salt, shake well. If it is soluble, again add salt mixture, shake well, then also soluble, repeat until the some amount of the soluble remain at the test tube, then take a saturated solution. This saturated solution is nothing but a virginal solution. Okay, the important thing is, if the given salt mixture is insoluble in the distilled water, test for then you have to test for the next solvent, that is you have to use dilute HCl. Okay, then repeat the above procedure. So this is all about the preparation of virginal solution. So next we will discuss a group detection step for basic radicals. So in the first group basic radicals, how do you detect a first group basic radicals means, you have to take virginal solution, then add dilute HCl to a virginal solution, then you will observe a white precipitations. So in the inference column, you have to notice that the first group basic radicals may be present. Either it may be lead or it may be silver ion. Okay, when means when the precipitation, when you will get a white precipitate, then only you have to write the first group basic radical is present. Or else if there is no white precipitation is formed, then it is clearly indicate that the first group basic radicals are absent. So the important thing is, if you get a white precipitate on adding virginal on adding dilute HCl to a virginal solution, then you will get a white precipitate, then the first group basic radicals may present. Okay, after getting a precipitate, you have to centrifuge the mixture, then you will get a residue and a centrifugate. Residue means precipitate and centrifugate means clear solution. Okay, after getting a residue and centrifugate, separate the residue and a centrifugate by using a test tube. After separating, the residue can be used for the identification of first group basic radicals. So this part is very important. That means the residue can be used for the identification of first group basic radicals. That means either you can use for the test for lead ion or it for the silver ion. Okay, then do the test for analysis of the first group basic radicals by using a residue. Okay, then do not discard the centrifugate. This is very important thing. Remember, do not discard the centrifugate. Then it is used for the analysis of second group basic radicals. By using a centrifugate, you have to analyze the second group basic radicals. So this is about the first group basic radicals detection. So next we will learn test for second group basic radicals. In the second groups in the test tube, what you are going to take means take a centrifugate from the first group and pass hydrogen sulfide gas. Then you will observe if there is any precipitation is formed in the test tube. So it will clearly tells us that second group basic radicals are present. Okay. If the precipitation is in the form of black, so in the inference you have to notice that lead or cupric ion may be present. Or in case if the precipitation is brown, that means you will get a brown precipitate, then bismuth ion may be present. Or in some case what happens means yellow precipitate if you get, this is clearly indicate that there is a presence of cadmium may be present in the given salt mixture. If you don't get any precipitate on adding a H2S to a centrifugate taken from the first group, then it will shows that the second group basic radicals are absent. Okay. So the important thing is, if you get a precipitate, remember, if you get a precipitate, then the second group basic radicals may present. Okay. After getting a precipitate, the second point is, then you have to centrifuge, then you will get a residue, that means precipitate, and centrifugate, that means clear solution. Okay. Separate residue and centrifugate. Okay. And residue can be used for the, remember, residue, not centrifugate. Residue can be used for the identification of second group basic radicals. Either it may be lead or cupric or bismuth or cadmium. That basic radicals you can determine by using a taking residue, not centrifugate. Okay. Then the last thing is, do not discard the centrifugate. Use it for the analysis of third group basic radicals. This is very important thing. That is, once again I will repeat, do not discard the centrifugate. Use it for third group basic radicals. So this is all about test for second group basic radicals. Okay. Next we shall move on to analysis of third group basic radicals. How do you analyze a third group basic radicals? Means in a test tube you have to take a centrifugate from the second and add solid ammonium chloride and add few drops of ammonium hydroxide solution. Then until the smell of ammonia is formed, you have to add ammonium hydroxide. So what you will observe means, if you get any precipitation in the test tube, this gives us that, this is inference us that third group basic radicals may be present. Okay. What are the third group basic radicals means? What are the basic radicals present in the third group means?